Right, the lighting in here is not great, so I'll tell you now, this is purple. It's come up better on the photograph than in the video. It's very purple bedrunner. This is the altar as it stands at present, ready for the lovely beginning of winter, which I always enjoy. As usual, I've got my little spindle there, representing womanhood. Also representing womanhood in a slightly blunter fashion is my Calan Gaeaf. These are thought to represent either fertility or death, as death could be seen as a return to the womb. As you can see, she's quite blatant about it, but I love it. I think it's gorgeous, and I think it perfectly represents both fertility and death, and at the same time the sheer power of women and their ability to do things that may shock and may even terrify, but that ultimately have incredible power. So I'm very fond of that one. I've been trying to get hold of one for ages, and I've recently managed to get one. Then we've got down here my money ring. This ring is from about 100 AD. It was used during the Iron Age. It's a bronze ring. You can actually see a flash of bronze on it. There, that's where the metal is showing through. The rest is quite tarnished. But it's not bad for nearly 2,000 years old. I usually wear that around my wrist, especially when I'm working at the charity shop, stuff like that. I can't wear it at my other job, obviously, because I'm baking. And I'm not allowed anything that will dangle in the food, but it means a lot to me, that little money ring. Oh dear, it's gone all dark. Right. Yeah, that represents the ancestors whose names I don't know, the ones who are too distant, and all the ancient people who lived on this land before me. I'm very fond of the Iron Age tribes. I love the way they lived. I love their attitude to life. And I feel very close to them, especially the Atrebates, who are the people that used to live in this area. I often feel that they're still around. Up there I have my skin rattle, one of my treasures that I got from Bead Games. I've actually got two of those. One's somewhere else, up there I think on the shelf above, but I'm not showing you that because it's a mess. Also from Bead Games, my lovely cow horn. Those both represent the animals that at this time of year in the Iron Age would have been slaughtered because they couldn't make it through the winter, and it represents the gifts that all the farmed animals give us, and all the hunted animals for that matter. I'm not a big fan of hunting for fun, but I have no objection to people killing animals for food. This is a season more than any other where you should celebrate the gifts of things like meat. It was traditional to have a huge feast at this time of meat because of all the animals that were being killed because they wouldn't survive through the winter. And all the meat had to be used, so it's traditional to have as much meat as possible at this time of year. And we should never forget that everything we eat and drink is a gift from some animal or plant. With the exception of salt, which is a mineral, but same thing. Always be grateful for what you have to eat, and never ever get into the food racism of veganism and vegetarianism, because it's piffle. Sorry to rant, but they drive me mad. There is no ethical difference between eating a carrot and eating a cow, except that we usually kill the cow first. We don't kill the carrot, unless we boil it, I suppose. There's my Celtic cross as usual, and my symbol of charity, representing the compassion that I hope to have for others, and also my work in charity shops. That actually came from a charity shop, Oxfam. It's beautiful, isn't it? I love that. Over here we have the symbolic bit. The green man that was stood up proudly before is now falling asleep. Next to him is the skull representing death, which isn't that frightening to those of us who know that it carries on afterwards, know that we all come back. I don't believe in reincarnation, by the way. I just believe that we all, once we become spirit, we can go where we want, and I know my family always come back to visit, and especially at this time of year when I specifically invite them to. There's my drum. That's having a good time on the altar at the moment. I'm keeping it on the altar as much as possible. I like to keep new things on the altar a lot so that they sort of perk up a bit. I know that sounds weird. I'm trying to not to use the word energy because I don't like the word energy because it's too vague, but I like them to pick up the feel of the place. And I like having it near me as well. It's beautiful, and the dark wood is especially nice for this time of year, as is the dark driftwood. Again, this is one of my treasures from bead games, these two pieces of driftwood. They are beautiful. This is my holy stone. Now, holy stones were traditionally used to protect against evil spirits. What you'd do is you'd put a thong through the hole, which is incidentally created through natural means. That's actually created by a water drip, which over years and years has made a hole through the stone, and that is what gives it its power, allegedly. So you hang a thong through there, and then you hang it up in your stable or your house to protect against evil spirits. Now, I don't personally believe there's such a thing as evil spirits, because I don't personally believe in evil. But I do believe that there are spirits that can be mischievous and cheeky and can enjoy frightening people. I'm not afraid of them because, frankly, with my protection, I don't need to be. I've got ancestors that can... Well, let's just put it this way. The only time I met an aggressive spirit, my nana drove it off. So terrified he never came near me again. But anyway, I keep the holy stone around because I like it. And it's nice to keep up old traditions, even if I don't feel I need to protect myself. And it doesn't hurt to protect myself against people who have grudges against me. And there are a few. Now this is Prendergast, which I always joke is prender from the French, to take, and ghast meaning ghastly monster. So it's take a horrible monster, but he's adorable, isn't he? He's based on a grotesque, I believe in Oxford, but it could be almost anywhere. It's a long time since I read the stuff about him, but he's based on a grotesque from a building. Not a gargoyle, because gargoyles are the ones that have water spouts in them. But he's there to represent all the frightening stuff about this time of year, all the old superstitions and things. As you can see, he's quite amused by them. He's a little dumpling. I love him. I've always loved him. He's lost his ears. He had a couple of accidents and broke off an ear in each one, which is quite sad. But he's still gorgeous. The chalice, again, a fairly new thing, so I'm keeping it fairly prominent. A picture of my sister in New Zealand. I don't feel right without a picture of her somewhere on the altar. When there's room, I put pictures of her girls as well, but I like to keep her in sight. I just feel right about that. I like to have those I love close. I wanted to put pictures of my ancestors on the mirror, and I might do that yet. I have to first move them onto the other computer because then they can print properly. So that's everything. As you can see, it's quite simple, and I've left myself space here. I'm going to put a coaster there where I can put my cup of coffee. I like using the altar as a table as well when I'm having cups of tea and coffee. I'll sometimes have a glass of water on there. I'll sometimes leave little notebooks on there or something. It's partly practical, but it's mainly because I don't ever want the altar to be separate from my life. It's very important to me. And putting a cup on the altar when I'm sitting here reading or working on the computer or whatever reminds me that everything is sacred and that I should give thanks for the things I have. It's very important to do that as far as I'm concerned. Now this isn't officially part of the altar, but look up on the shelf above, isn't he sweet? Got him in a charity shop, Age UK. Oh, he's gorgeous. Got my little angel up there as well. That shelf is utterly cluttered with wonderful things. I love it dearly. I must organise it better. But there you go, there's my altar. And I think you'll agree that it looks quite good. I like it anyway. It'll probably change a bit between now and Samhain, but things do change. And at this time of year everything's changing, and I am completely potty. I go funny at this time of year. This is my time of year. This is my favourite part of the year, the time when the autumn is just bursting with goodness and excitement, and everything is finishing its work, and the hawthorns down the road are covered in these beautiful berries that are just like rubies. They're deep red and cascades of them. It's going to be a very hard winter, because it always is when they're that bright and that full, all laden with their presents for the birds. And the birds are singing amazing songs, and we're having incredible storms. And some mornings there's a beautiful thick fog that keeps everything mysterious. I just love it. And people moan about the weather and say, oh, it's cold and it's wet and it's miserable. But for me, someone who hates the summer and all its overbearing heat, I love this weather. And I get to splash in puddles and kick through leaves. Brings out me inner 3-year-old who isn't that deep under the surface, as you can tell from my altar. This is the time of year when life becomes wonderful. Oh, just seen something I should add. Just seen something perfect. 2 things actually, that's good. Yes. Here you are, you're seeing the creative process in action. There's an owl. Owls are very wise and protectors of the night, and have been used to represent all kinds of things connected with the other world and passages and such. And this, which I haven't had on the altar for a long time, is my trilobite fossil. It's quite small, not the most inspiring I've ever seen. It's not very obviously a trilobite, but that's because I gave this one to my sister. But this one, I just love him because he's so curled up and cute. And that can go there, and that can represent the most ancient of forerunners on the planet. Because it matters at this time of year to remember where we came from and what there is under the surface everywhere. This is a very good time of year to just look back and of course look forward. There will be a time when we're the ones that people are looking back to, whether we're their direct ancestors or just people who used to be here before them. I hope they'll be nice to us like we're nice to our ancestors. I hope we are nice to our ancestors. If you're not nice to your ancestors, you should be. I guarantee that at least a few of them are watching over you all the time. Sometimes I feel like I've got an army behind me protecting me, getting me up that hill in the morning to work. So, that's the altar at the moment. I hope you all like it. And I hope you all have a wonderful trip into winter, or in the case of my southern hemisphere friends, a wonderful beginning to your summer. It's Beltane for you lot. Speak to you soon.